Yesterday, I was having a conversation with this lady from my town. We're talking about existence. What is existence? Why do we exist? Because that's important to talk about. I mean, like that's what we should be talking about. Like if I was a politician, I would want to have these conversations with the people who follow me. Because that's important. We exist. What is going on? And if you want me to enjoy our conversation, talk to me about what you think is going on. I'll enjoy our conversation. I won't want our conversation to end. What is reality? What is existence? What is consciousness? Where do we come from? Those are the topics that I like to have with people. The lady asked me, out of all the theories that you have about existence, which theory would you say is more likely to be true? Is this a simulation where we created by the Anunnaki? Like which theory would you say really makes sense? And I said, we're dreaming. He said, no, that's crazy. There's no way this is a dream. And I said to her, no matter what it is, it's gonna sound crazy to someone, right? No matter what reality is, it's gonna sound crazy to someone, but it is something. It's not like no one in the world have thought of what reality actually is, and they got it right. The reason why we don't agree on the same things is because we see things differently. So you might find that there's someone who have actually explained what life is, but we didn't believe that person. We thought that person was crazy. It's up to you as a conscious being to decide what reality is. Since you are experiencing life from your own perspective, since you cannot be sure if there are other perspectives, since you cannot be sure if you are not the only one that actually exists, so it's up to you to decide what you actually think is going on. The mistake that I see humans making is that even when there is evidence that something is the case, they try to come up with the most logical explanation for it. And the logical explanations that they come up with are the explanations that the world already believe, right? Let's say, for an example, I see Jesus. Like, damn, that's Jesus, bro. And then he disappears. What am I going to think? I'm going to think that maybe I'm crazy. I saw the dude and he disappeared. But I might think that I'm crazy. Let's just say I hear voices. What am I going to think? I'm crazy. Let's say I check what time it is and it says it's 8 a.m. Then I look away and then I check again and now it's 10 a.m. What am I going to think? I'm going to think, it's my eyes. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to try to come up with the most logical explanation based on what it's already believed in the world. If you went to a therapist and maybe you were having like supernatural experiences, you went to a therapist and explained to them what you think is going on, they will try to come up with the most logical explanation based on what is already known in the world. That's one of the biggest mistakes that we're making, because it's going to make it hard for us to understand what reality really is. This reminds me of a video here on YouTube. It's called When You Are Obviously in a Simulation. So this guy, is walking He's walking alone. It's in a city. And then it got dark. And he was like, how did it get dark so quickly? It must be that global warming stuff. It's like, huh? It's like, no, it's weird actually that it got dark too quickly. So your explanation, you're trying to come up with the most logical explanation, but what if there is something else that's going on that you're not even thinking about, because you want your explanation for what is going on to be normal. You know what I'm saying? He checked his watch again and it was 4 p.m. And he was like, but it was just 5. Daylight saving is crazy. Like, he's always trying to come up with the most logical explanation. He saw some sweets, and what on the packet, I think the name of the sweets is Fruit Loops. He was like, but it had 2 O's. The fruit had 2 O's, and I was like, no, I thought like fruit was spelled as regular fruit. Like, why does it have 2 O's now? Oh, it must be the Mandela effect. And then he had voices in his head because there were these guys who were controlling his reality. So they accidentally switched on the mic and you could hear what they were saying. And they were talking about him. And he said, oh, I know what's going on. This time I really know what's going on. And they got scared. Like, now he caught us. And he said, I'm schizophrenic. Like, he's trying to explain reality based on what is already been told. What is already been told is normal, right? Like, there can never be supernatural things that happen. Whatever they told us normal is, that's what it is. There's nothing that can happen that is not normal, that no one knows or understand. How are you going to be able to understand reality? What if truth is stranger than fiction? What we think is crazy isn't actually crazy. Sometimes reality does expose itself, and we try to come up with the most logical explanation for what we saw, and the explanation is not in alignment with what is true. When I sleep, sometimes I hear sounds, different sounds now. When I was young, I would hear the same sounds, and these sounds will wake me up. Sometimes I'll hear someone calling my name, and then I'll wake up. Sometimes it'll feel like something fell down, like a glass fell down, and it will wake me up. Sometimes I'll hear like an explosion, like, and then I'll wake up. They call this like exploding head syndrome. It's something that happens to me like almost all the time. There are times when it doesn't happen, but when it happens, it happens. And usually it happens when I'm sleeping in specific places. It's weird. Like, it doesn't happen all the time. Like, I could go to a new place and it doesn't happen. You know, I sleep there for like a month and it doesn't happen. And then I move to another place, and when I'm in that place, it happens like all the time. They call it exploding head syndrome. Sometimes I would wake up. In fact, I was actually sleeping, but then I was woken up by a sound. Or when I'm about to fall asleep, I hear a sound and it wakes me up. And I try to fall asleep again, and then I hear another sound and it wakes me up. Like, nah, it's exploding head syndrome, and they try to come up with a logical explanation. But what if the explanation is in a logical explanation? What if something else is actually happening? Something that it's outside what is known. But we want to explain that in a way that will sound normal. That no, nothing else is happening. It's just your brain when you're about to sleep. It's doing this, it's doing that. What are dreams? Like, something is happening in your brain. When you sleep, your brain is trying to process what happened during the day, and that's why you start to dream. You're like, okay, but that's not a satisfying explanation. That is not a satisfying explanation. What if something else is going on? What if reality itself is a dream? And everything tells me that, but I do not want to accept that as truth. I still want to come up with an explanation that is going to seem logical, that's going to seem consistent with what is already believed by people. So if I say life is a dream, of course I sound crazy. If I went to Dr. Phil and he asked me questions, he will treat me like a patient, basically. Like, you think it's a dream? So you think your parents, they didn't actually give birth to you? What's going on? You think your friends don't exist? Do you think I exist? You know what I mean? Like, I'll be treated like a mental patient. You think this is a simulation? So this is not real. This is not the real world. Oh, like in the movie The Matrix. And then I'll be diagnosed with, you know what I'm saying? There are things that are taboo to believe about reality, but what if these things are true? What if this reality is trying to protect the lie, basically, and it gaslights us? So what is considered to be normal isn't actually the truth. And if you figure out what the truth is, this reality is going to protect itself. So people are going to say you're crazy. The people who you trust, the people you are close with, the people that you love, the people who love you, if you tell them the actual truth, they're going to say that you're crazy. But when you tell them lies, they're going to treat you like you're normal. What is actually going on? Why do we always make excuses for the weird things that happen in this world that prove to us that reality is not what it seems? Even the things happen that are just way too convenient. You're like, that is not supposed to. What are the chances that will happen, bruh? What are the chances? I do understand that things are happening. So of course, things that are weird will happen sometimes because things are happening all the time. But that is just too weird. That is too convenient. That's not supposed to happen. I know that was not supposed to happen, but it did happen. Why? It happened at the right time. Why? You meet this person, you meet them at the perfect time. You're like, this is making me suspicious. You meet a stranger, they look like someone that you know. They sound like this person and they have the same name. You're like, huh? What's going on here? You think of a movie, you go to your friend's place, he's watching the same movie. Like, I do understand that. Of course, weird things will happen. Of course, synchronicity will happen. Why? Because I'm in a realm where things are happening all the time. But this is still a bit too weird. This is not like a popular movie, bruh. Especially where I live. Like, I think of the movie Inception. 30 minutes later, my friend is watching Inception. Who watches Inception? They don't watch Inception here. They watch action movies. I mean, it's kind of like an action movie, but still, they don't like people who don't, think deeply about reality. They think Inception is confusing, but it's like one of the best movies that I've ever watched. Like one of my favorite. Bruce Buffer and his brother, they both announce fights. Bruce Buffer works for the UFC. He announced fight. His brother announced fights in boxing. Get ready to rumble. Bruce Buffer is the one who says, it's time. Introducing first a freestyle fighter, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, these guys are brothers, but they didn't know they were brothers. They both chose the same career, which is a rare career to choose. They discovered they were brothers when they were older, and they were both successful at what they do. Yeah, what kind of coincidence is that? There are things that happen in our life that are just way too convenient. The problem is that we don't pay close attention. If you pay attention, you realize that synchronicities happen every day, and I'm talking about weird synchronicities that show you that this is not random. Like, it's not like we live in a world where things are just happening randomly. If things were happening randomly, trust me, the world would be chaotic. Too damn chaotic. I mean, it is chaotic, but it will just be. If you watch the movie, what's the name of this movie? John Wick. I think John Wick 3. It's just this. Not a lot is happening, but it's just violence. Like, there isn't. Like, the story is not well written. It's just violence and violence of it. So it will kind of be like that. It will just be violence, a lot of weird things happening, and it will just be chaos. But nah, it's not really like that. There is a story that's going on. There's a story that's continuing. As a human, I have 2 hands, 4 fingers, I have hair, I have eyes, I can breathe. You know what I'm saying? No, that can't be something that happened randomly. I was having a conversation with someone about evolution. I was like, if evolution was true, I think all the animals would have died. The reason why I think that, like, think of a fish. If it had to evolve enough to survive outside of the water, how long will it survive? How long would, like, if we keep on, I understand that it happens, it takes millions of years and whatever, but for that to be happening, and we ended up like this, we ended up as this, not perfect, but as these beings that function so well with nature, that should make us suspicious. What is reality? Do you think reality is fixed? Do you think that if something happens, it has happened? Like, the past cannot change. Like, the future cannot affect the past. The present cannot affect the past. The more I pay attention to how things work, the more I think there are a lot of things that are happening that we're not even aware are happening. Like, maybe the past does change. Maybe what you do now can affect the past, can make the past, can change the past. And you think it doesn't. And then once it changes the past, you will think that because you always want to come up with the most logical explanation. You'll think that it's you who don't remember the past clearly, right? You're like, it's me, you know? Oh, so this person's name was Akani all along. I thought his name was Shamulo, but his name is Akani. Huh? That's weird, but his name was Shamulo. Alright, it means I just didn't pay attention. It was my fault. Find out, no, the past changed. Something happened that actually changed the past. But you don't want to admit that because it's just too crazy, right? It doesn't align with what is normal to believe in this realm. Like you're not supposed to believe that the past can change. But what if the past can change? What if the present is what's affecting the past and the future? We just don't know that yet. Now, when I woke up this morning, I asked myself a very important question. What is really the best way to live, not actually to live life, but what's the best way to look at life for me to have peace? Because that's what I want. I hope you find a peace of mind in this lifetime. Like, what if I'm looking at life wrong? What if the magic is in the present and I don't know that? What if even when things happen, I do not dwell on these things, especially if I don't, like, let's just say something that I don't like happening. I don't dwell on it. I'm like, what if I acted like it didn't happen? What if I didn't make it important? I didn't think deeply about it. It's like, all right. And I just focus more on what I prefer. And I just focus on that and I live in the moment and I try to explore what I prefer in the moment. How would my life be? And if I can master that, wouldn't things work out better for me? What if I've been looking at life wrong? What if I believed a story that was not true all my life, and because of that, I'm suffering more than I will be suffering? Don't get me wrong, this is a hell realm, and the reason why I call this a hell realm is because if you find yourself in a realm where you don't understand what is going on, and you are suffering and you need to figure out what's going on, even if you do figure out what's going on in the end, it doesn't mean that it wasn't hell for you. It wouldn't mean that it wasn't a hellish experience for you. It wouldn't have been a hellish experience if we knew what was going on and we knew how to end our suffering if we don't want to suffer. So any place where you suffer, even if you don't want to suffer, that's hell for you. Because hell is a place where you are being tormented, even if you don't want to suffer. So if you are suffering here, then it's hell because you don't want to suffer. I don't know a person who wants to suffer, and unless you wanted to suffer and you enjoyed suffering, so I would say yes, it's not hell. But if you don't enjoy suffering and you don't want to suffer, but you're suffering, then it's hell. But what if there was a better way to look at life that will actually make your overall experience better? Maybe reality is not fixed. Maybe things keep on changing and you don't even notice. The same way when you're dreaming, things keep on changing and you don't even notice. When you're still in a dream, it's only after you've woken up. And I don't understand why it's not that it's not easy, but that you don't even notice or take it seriously that something has changed until you wake up. It's like when you're still in a dream, you're not supposed to notice the glitches. So what if you're not noticing the glitches in this reality because you weren't supposed to? Like, glitches be happening all the time. People will be popping in and out of your life who didn't exist before, who came to be your friends, and you have memories together. Like, you have memories of them. Like, it's like you've known them your whole life, but you didn't. You were given these memories. So they've never been in your life until now, and you were given memories of them. I remember I told you about this Rick and Morty's episode about memory parasites, mind parasites. Actually, there was this alien parasites that were able to make people remember things about them that didn't exist. So, but they were only able to make people remember good things, and that's how Morty realized that no. Which ones are the parasites, because it got to a point where they didn't know if which people were real and which ones weren't real. I want to realize that, oh no, actually the parasites are only able to give us good memories. So if you can think of something that someone has done that was bad, then it means they are real. And if you can't think of something that someone has done that was bad, like this person is just too damn perfect, it means they're not real, they're a parasite, since they cannot create bad memories. What if we had more power than we think we do? You find that you are really the one who decides what is true. Maybe the reason why you don't know what is going on is because nothing is true except for what you decide is true. This is deep. Nothing is true except for what you decide is true. And without giving it a deep thought, it makes sense. Like, I'm the one who should decide what is true and what isn't true. If I wanted to believe that this tree is not real, because no one can confirm to me what reality really is and what's real and what's not, then I'm the one who confirms what is true and what isn't. So it is true that it's not real, because that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This reminds me of a scene from the TV series Atlanta. My favorite character said something to someone who's like, oh, this guy said he made something up, and then he said everything is made up, stay woke. So what if everything is made up? And you don't want to believe that. You don't want to believe that everything is made up, so you don't want to make anything up. You want reality to be something fixed, something that is not made up. I think of dreams. Don't you feel like dreams are made up? Like nothing is actually real that is actually happening in your dream. Everything is made up. But you want to believe that it's not. You want to believe that it's real. When you are in it. Maybe to liberate ourselves, we need to stop looking at reality the way we were programmed to look at it. Maybe we need to stop looking at reality the way we were programmed to look at it. Maybe reality maybe what is true about reality is strange, but not really because it's strange, but because what we believed about reality was not true at all. So the truth is going to sound strange. But what if the truth was obvious all along? What if you didn't even have to do a lot of work to realize what is actually going on? But the problem is that you believed that the story was real. The story that you were given about life. Maybe they told you that you come from a monkey and you just believed that. Maybe they told you were created by a God and you just believed that. Maybe they told you you live in physical reality and you just believe that. But why do you believe that if you dream? They told you that dreams are just dreams, you know. They don't mean anything. They're not real. You are sleeping and you start to dream. Your mind starts to create experiences for you. So yeah, that's you dreaming. But your dreams are not even real. And you believe that. But why do you believe that? So that becomes true because that's what you're making to be true. So that becomes true. So you find that you're now believing that all of this is real. It's not a dream. But what if the truth was obvious to you from the beginning? You just believed the lie so much that now the truth sounds like fiction. Right? If you believe that's something that was not true for a very long time, then truth is going to sound like fiction. The human brain is not very good at accepting truth that it's not familiar with. If a person told you they were a psychic, even if they prove to you, it will be very difficult for you to believe if you didn't believe that a person can be a psychic. So they would do things that will make sense to believe that they're a psychic, but you still wouldn't be able to believe them. You tell yourself that, oh, maybe they spoke to someone who knows about me, so they're trying to scam me. That's why it's hard to convince a person anything, really, especially when it comes to deep questions about existence. If you give someone an answer, like, it's gonna be hard for them to believe that your answer makes sense, especially if they've not thought about it at all. I don't know why I feel sleepy. I woke up early today. It's weird. It's still weird that I feel sleepy. It's not like I ate. I usually feel sleepy after eating. What if reality is not fixed? What if the past is not fixed? And you just made a mistake believing that it was. So you lived your whole life wrong because of the belief that you had about life. What if reality can never be real? So whatever you experience as reality is not real. You just believe that it is because you are having that experience. But what if none of it was real? And if none of it is real, that means the past is not fixed. We were taught to look down on ourselves as humans, to not trust ourselves. If I believe something about reality, If other people don't believe what I believe, I must not trust myself. But that's not a right way to think. I remember I told you about this dream so many times. I dreamt that I was at a beach with friends. And I felt that I was dreaming. So I told them that this is a dream. And I explained to them in many different ways why we are dreaming. And they said, no, it's not a dream. And they made me feel like I was crazy for thinking that this is a dream. How can you think this is a dream? Obviously, it's real. Gave them different examples why I think I was in a dream. Like, no, you're not in a dream, you're crazy. Until I woke up. That's why I'm telling you that it's you who must define what reality is. You can't be trusting anyone because you don't know what other people are. You don't know. If you can't know what's going on in other people's minds, how can you actually trust them? You don't know what's going on in my mind. How can you trust me? Maybe I was told that I must lie to you. So I decided, okay, I'm going to lie to people because that's what I was told I must do. Maybe there are non-player characters, people who are completely not self-aware. They don't think at all. They don't have their own minds. They're not sentient at all. And you're thinking that everyone is sentient. And you're treating everyone as if they're sentient because you don't know that some people are not even sentient. That's why I believe that knowing the truth is going to set us free. Some people be like, knowing the truth ain't going to set you free. Like, no, I think what's going to set us free is knowing the truth. It's either you try to philosophize about what's going on and pick a theory that makes the most sense to you and say, this is what I believe and this is what I'm running with. I believe this is a simulation and gather all the evidence that prove that you're in a simulation. I believe that this is a dream. You gather all the evidence. I believe that we're created by God. You gather all the evidence. I believe that we're created by the demiurge. You gather all the evidence, you know. Yes, it's good to have discussions with people about what might be going on, but in the end, you are the one who makes the final decision. You are the one who says, this is what reality is. And if we're being honest, no one should even have the right to like call you crazy or anything like that. It's what you think, since no one knows what's going on. So the truth could be something very strange. I've never felt this sleepy while recording. It's weird. So I guess I didn't really sleep last night. So I don't even remember what I dreamed about. So if reality was actually scripted, it will actually be better to not look at it as if it's fixed. So things will happen that you don't even prefer and you're like, well, it's not fixed. It's not like that's final. I told you that I've seen things change in my life because I didn't accept certain truth. I didn't pretend as if this truth went true, but I didn't accept this truth. It's like, okay, That happened. I'm not even gonna say anything about it. Let me focus on other things. This reminds me of when we were growing up. When a girl liked you, she would make you chase her. And if you decide to stop chasing, she'll chase you. I think that's how reality works. Like when you care too much, you push it away. It's gonna play with you basically. If you're not attached, if you don't care a lot, then reality itself will chase you and give you what you want in the process. Because you don't care. It wants to get you to care. That it can get you loose. Because once you start caring, it's gonna make you have some experiences that you might not necessarily want to have. I hope I'm still making sense because I'm really sleepy. Like when I get to my room, I'm just sleeping, bro. It's not making sense that that's how I feel right now. Like I feel that sleepy. You're free to believe anything about reality since no one has confirmed to you what is actually going on. But I wouldn't say believe nonsense. I would say there are some things that make sense to believe, and you will know. Because it must make sense to you. It must be something that clicked with you. It mustn't be something that you were taught to believe. Something that you were programmed to believe. Even if there's something that you were programmed to believe, you must first question it thoroughly first. Be skeptical first. Don't assume that this world is going to give you the truth just like that. If dreams are not what they seem, then why assume that this world is what it seems? If dreams don't give you truth, what makes you assume that this world is going to give you truth? If no one in your dreams is explaining to you that, oh no brother, you're dreaming. Can you imagine if dream characters were willing to help? So when you're dreaming, dream character be like, brother, you're dreaming. You do know that you're dreaming, right? No, be like, no, I don't know. Be like, no, you're actually dreaming. You're going to wake up. That would be beautiful. But no, they don't work like that. They'll just look at you and let you struggle in a dream while they're pretending to be real. Hey guys, I have a weird feeling that I might collapse. Like I've never felt this sleepy while walking. It's the weirdest thing ever. Like sometimes I feel like I'm gonna collapse. Dangers from not sleeping, of being a night owl. So I guess I gotta sleep for like maybe 5 hours when I get to my room. Reality is rigged, man. But it does seem to me that we have some level of control. It's just that when things want to happen, they will still find a way to happen. Kind of almost passed out. Try to look at reality as a mind game. Like, things are happening in the mind. So if it's in the mind, then nothing can be fixed. Like, reality is not something fixed. You'd notice that once you change and start feeling a certain way, you start to attract certain people. You find that there are men and women who are a certain way who wants to now hang out with you because of how you're presenting yourself. Because you've changed. That's a good thing. Like, knowing that this is not real is actually a good thing, than to take it seriously thinking that it's all real. You will end up becoming so conscious that things that people think are big problems do not even affect you. Because you realize that none of it is real, so it shouldn't be taken seriously. It's all fixed anyway. So let's try to figure out how I can change things if I really want to change things. If you want to care about something, don't care about much, Care more about things that won't change on you. That's what you gotta use your time on. Guys, I hope I'm still making sense. There's no way I'm this sleepy, bruh, while making this video. Like, I could feel it, that I pass out while walking. So, if I'm still making sense, then I'm dead dope. Because come on, like, the way that I'm feeling, I've never felt like this ever in my life. Walking and feeling this sleepy, that has never happened. I don't know what's going on today, guys. But sometimes I snap out of reality and come back and be like, oh shit, I'm still making a video. Right? That's how sleepy I am. So I know as soon as I get to my room, I'm sleeping. So yeah, it'll be dope if I'm still making sense. Because the way I feel, it's like I'm being hypnotized. Like, someone is just telling me what to say and I don't even know that I'm saying it. It's just, it's just coming to my mind on its own. I have a lot to do today because tomorrow I'm thinking of going back to Johannesburg. So hopefully I do not oversleep. Yeah, I don't think this reality is fixed. I think the past does actually change. We just don't notice, the same way that when we're dreaming, we don't notice when the past is changing. You could drive a car that's blue, and then as the dream continues, that car is black, and you don't even notice. You only notice after you've woken up, like, time. So that car What color was that car? Because it was blue in the beginning, but then it turned black, right? But when you were still dreaming, you didn't even notice. You took for granted that that happened. It didn't make you question what was going on and how can something like that happen, right? It didn't make you, ask the right questions. So let's keep on trying to figure out what's really, really going on, and don't be ashamed of believing what you believe about this world. A lot of people believe things without asking themselves questions. So at least you are asking questions. You are thinking. You are philosophizing. You're trying to figure out what's deep and what's hidden. Thank you guys for watching until the end. Like the video. Tell me what you think in the comment. Tell me if I was that sleepy. Subscribe to the channel. Share the video. Yeah, let's keep on growing. Thank you.